for those of us in tech, we have to figure a way of how do we make tech exciting for our people.
God damn, P, why the hell you be so hard, man?
What's up, everybody? This is William from Before the Billions. I hope you guys are doing well today. Today, I have a special guest with me, John Exume, the Director of Business Development of Technologies of Color. I've known this man for a few years now, and I am excited to go ahead and interview him. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and turn it over to John.
How is everyone doing? Can't wait to do this interview and share some nuggets with you guys.
Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and give you the applause.
Thank you,
And
thank you.
yes, it's a pleasure to have you over here. So, John, I got a few questions for you, man. But first, I want you to kind of introduce yourself to everybody. I know I kind of did a little bit, and I talked about you're the director of business development. But go ahead and let everybody in the audience know who you are.
Well, hello. So my name is John Exume. I am, like William said, the Director of Business Development for Technologies Color. And what my job entails is working with sponsors on creating amazing events for our sponsors. And that's what I'm tasked with to do at Technologies Color. Outside of that, I am self-employed. I'm an entrepreneur slash consultant. I have my own company called Exumetron LLC, which is a consulting company. We focus on web development and consulting with small, medium, and large businesses on their technology needs. I've been in the tech space for, good Lord, how many years now? I'm going to say 15 plus years.
All
So I've
right.
been in the tech space 15 plus years. I thoroughly enjoy it. Wouldn't do anything else. I love tech, and tech has afforded me a lot of opportunities for my family, and so I just love this career.
And that is awesome, man. 15 plus years, man. I think that's
Yes.
absolutely. I'm trying to get there too, man. I'm at 4 years now, going on 5. So you know what? It is a testament to say, like, hey, you know what? We can succeed in this. And then you said that you were self-employed with your own company, Exumatron. I
Yes.
love that name, though. I ain't gonna lie to you,
Yes.
Exumatron. That's kind of cool, man. So what do you do for your business?
So for my business, I'm a consultant, so I work with small, medium, and large businesses. I help with web development. So if you need a website, I can build one for you. If you need app development, I can build apps for you. Or if you need someone who's going to help you, select the right technology products for your business, I am that person for you. Um, I, so it's funny. I started the business officially in 2017 on a part-time basis, and I was working, and of course, pandemic happened, and I just wanted, don't get me wrong, I love the companies that I worked for, but I just wanted that freedom. And so I decided to, funny thing is, I actually decided last year around the beginning of November, I kind of told myself, I said, you know what? Let me do my consulting thing full time. And so I got a contract with the company to teach some tech to students and to some adults. And so I've been doing that. And I officially left corporate America on December 8th of 2021, and have been doing my thing since then and enjoy it. I enjoy the freedom. There's ups and downs when you do things on your own, but it's enjoyable to be able to wake up when I want to, set up meetings when I want to. So having that freedom has been great.
Yes, and that's a great thing. I know a lot of people are trying to get to that point where you know what, you don't have to work for a job; you can work for yourself. Um, and what actually made you want to do like go the entrepreneur route?
So for me, what sort of spearheaded it for me was I looked at my life and everything that I accomplished. I started, as an entry level tech, early on in my career, and then I ended up, being a manager, managing teams, being a senior analyst for MailChimp at a point in my career. And I felt that with everything that I've learned in my career, I can start my own and do it myself. I have great relationships. I know a lot of people. I, you know, will definitely say that networking has been a key thing for me, and knowing people who to talk to, who may have some opportunities. I said, you know what, let's just do it. What's the worst thing that can happen? If it doesn't work, I can always come back and work for a company. And so I think for me, looking at what I've accomplished in my career, I wanted to take a leap of faith. There's a quote from um, Steve Harvey where he talks about, just jumping, just jump. And so I just felt like, you know what, just jump. What's the worst that could happen? If I do this entrepreneurial thing and it doesn't work out for me after 6 months or however long that I want to do it for, I can always go back to a tech company. I have the experience to go back. But I felt that, I wanted to take this leap of faith. So far, so good. It's been good. It's its ups and downs here or there, but overall the experience has been great, and I'm learning a lot about myself as well through the process.
That's awesome, man. Absolutely. And with that too, because I remember you telling me that you actually took this leap of faith, right? This you took
Yes,
more risk. And I want to ask you this: is that do you think that more people should take these types of calculated risks, right? Because you didn't just sit up here and say, "Oh, I'm gonna go out here and start my own business with no money." Would you say, "Hey, you know what? More people should get into entrepreneurship."
I would say yes, but I say yes with a little caveat. You have to have confidence in yourself. Okay. And so, for me to have the level of confidence that I have took years of, making mistakes in my career, learning from those mistakes, making sure those mistakes don't happen again. I personally don't recommend people taking that leap of faith unless they have confidence in themselves. So, for example, if you're someone starting off in tech and you're confident and you're learning and you're growing, there are opportunities out there for you to take that leap. But only take, if I'm going to give a piece of advice to anyone, take that leap of faith. You, in order to successfully take that leap of faith, you have to have confidence in yourself and your abilities. So if you're confident that, let's just say that you're a front end developer, if you are able to learn and grow and increase your skills over time, and you're tired of the 9 to 5, go ahead and take that leap of faith, right? If you have that confidence. But if you're someone that is not that confident, I would pause and wait until you have that confidence before jumping out there.
Completely agree.
Hmm.
And also, in addition to the confidence, having some funding to help fund your
Yes,
idea, or your business, because that funding is probably one of the most important things for a business.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get it a little bit into technology of color as well, because I want to
Hmm.
learn a little bit more about the fact that you actually are working with these sponsors. So, if you guys did not see the interview that I had with Marcellus, the one of the founders of Technologies of Color, he was bringing up all the sponsors that they have for Technologies of Color. So, and John, you work with these different brands and companies in order to set up these meetups, right?
Correct.
All right. And can you tell us a little bit more about like how you go about procuring these contracts with different companies and how you actually go about setting up these events?
Right. So I have to say that the organization has been blessed where we have not outwardly gone out to seek these sponsors. They have actually come to us. And before we, you know, I would say join with a sponsor, we want to vet we want to vet, are they, is this a money play to say that, oh, we're connecting with a we're connecting with a black organization, or is there true intention of hiring, um, black and brown people to work for their organization? And so what I do is in my role is I hold meetings. I try to learn a lot about the culture and see if they are a good culture fit with our organization. And then from there, we showcase to them some of our sponsorship offerings, and we'll hold a meeting or two back and forth. And once everyone agrees on a sponsorship package, we then, of course, they send us funds, we secure the funds, and then we go into what I call the planning stage, where we will plan an event around the organization, to showcase them to our community and let them know that this organization is not an organization that's just here for marketing, that they are truly here, to hire, people of color, into their organization.
And with that being said, what type of events have you guys hosted?
So we've done quite a few events. I would say our most popular event is our networking events, where we just have, the tech community, those who have been in tech for years, those who are just starting in tech, get together, have a couple of drinks, talk, connect with our sponsors. So we've done networking events. We've done, meetups where we focus on particular technologies. So, for example, if one of our sponsors is heavy in the cloud, we may set up a meetup on cloud technology, introducing, aspects of maybe like, AWS, Microsoft, Azure, or Google Cloud, or GCP, and we'll do a meetup event, around that particular topic. We've also had them sponsor, our Coding While Black sessions, where Coding While Black is mainly a working session where folks come in. You can bring your projects. You can, whether you're new in the tech or you're a veteran in tech, it's an event where everyone just come together, um, talk to each other, talk about projects you're working on. We'll probably we usually have what's called a lightning talk, where someone will come up and present, either a project they're working on or a technology that we, are interested in. For example, we recently did one on Web3 and NFTs, and we did a NFT project where we showed everyone who came to the event. We showed you how to, create a you know create an artifact, upload it to OpenSea, and have your image minted and put on sale on OpenSea, in an NFT marketplace. So we've done, like I said, networking events. We've done Coding While Blacks. We've done meetups. We've done panel discussions where we have the organization come down, talk about their culture, talk about what they're looking for. We've even done job fairs, because some of our sponsors have, some really good positions, and we loved introducing that to our community, getting our people hired into these organizations to make a difference.
That's awesome, John. And you know what's funny is that I'm kind of on the introverted side, so I was like, man, I ain't trying to go out anywhere. And then I always make it a point to say, you know what, technology is color getting together. Let me go ahead and go out there. So I've been to most of those events actually for the
Yes,
past 2 years.
yes,
Man,
definitely.
yeah. So like I've been to the happy hour. I've been to the
Hmm.
job fairs. I think the last job fair we went to was the Manhattan. Um,
Correct, Manhattan Associates.
yeah, Manhattan Associates. Yeah, that was a nice building too.
Yes.
And then also, of course, I've been going to the Coding While Blacks as well. And I know you guys actually have some sort of, I think it was a course, right, that you actually teach people about how to actually do certain things as far as data structures and algorithms
Hmm.
and things like that as well. Do you mind speaking about it?
Sure. So the program you're talking about is called Foundations. We've done one usually in the spring and the fall, and basically what we found out from a lot of our members and guests who've come to our events is they go to a job interview and they pass that first interview. So the first interview, they do well. They make it to the interview where they have to code something, on a whiteboard, draw something out. And what happens is that they'll get asked questions and they don't have the answers to it. And so we created the program called Foundations, where we teach those fundamental things that you don't get from a boot camp. Okay, so you don't get thorough algorithm training from a boot camp, or data structures, or things like that, or things of that nature. And we are currently right now we have sort of paused it, but we will probably get it back up again in the fall, because we usually run it for about 8 weeks in the fall, and it's usually on Saturdays. It's about 4 hours, and we have a trainer who thoroughly gives you an explanation of the actual topic. So the goal of Foundations is, after you've gone through one of those classes, you'll have material to study on, and you'll gain a better understanding of the actual topic. So we've done them on algorithms, we've done them on data structures, we've done them on best coding practices. And so Foundations has been a great um, event, and we hope to continue to do more of them in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm glad that you guys actually provide that to people who are trying to learn and get into the industry. And one thing that I've noticed, right, whenever I've been trying to get a new job, is that I would interview over and over again
Right.
to be able to see what type of questions that may be asked. Because you can, like, let's say you take a while off from interviewing, right? You
Right.
work in a job for a few years now, you haven't interviewed with anybody, your interview skills are gone at that point. Then when you start trying to go back to interviewing, they're gonna ask you some simple questions. You're like, what? Like, I haven't used that in like years,
Right. Right.
and that actually hurts you because you know what to do. You can do the job. You have the ability to, but your skills have just dulled, right? You kind of got,
Definitely.
your skills are dulled, and you kind of getting yourself out of the industry. You're kind of obsolete at that point, so you need to kind of get yourself back up. And John, I want to ask you this: is it okay to say that you don't know in these interviews?
My advice to people is, I always tell them, if you don't know the answer, it's okay to say you don't know. But also with a caveat. I always tell folks, the best piece of advice that I can give you when you're going through the interview process is, if they ask you a question that you don't know, pause for a quick second, pause, answer the question like this. I haven't, you could say something towards the lines of, you know, I haven't used this feature, or let's just say they ask you about a feature or some type of functionality that you haven't used. You could say, I haven't, used that feature yet, but based on the information you have told me, this is how I would handle it. Okay. So what that shows the interviewer is, even though you don't know, or if they were looking for a particular answer and they realize that you don't know the answer, that you're willing to try after after the fact. If you just sit there and say, I don't know, and just stop right there, then what that shows someone who's interviewing you is, you just do what you're told. You don't push yourself to learn more. And so I always tell people, when asked questions like that on things you don't know, acknowledge that you don't know it, but also give a solution after the fact. So, no, I haven't used this feature before, but this is how I would do it, blah, 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 right? But don't sit there and just say, I don't know, and just pause like this and just think you're doing a great job, because you basically have crossed yourself out of the list.
Yeah. Now, of course, now John, you're not talking about like if you ask me a question, have you used this before? And that's a
Right.
whole deal. I've never used before. And I have no problem with learning how to use this software, but for my previous positions that I've held, I've never used this tool or feature or whatever it is. So as long as you say, hey, you know what, I've never used it, but I'm willing to learn,
Right.
it's good. All right, so and then John, let's go into a little bit more of how people can actually go into your type of field. Like you said that you build websites as you're a consultant as well. So and you build applications. Can we kind of talk about how you actually accomplish these things, and then have you actually had any sponsors or any companies that you've worked with since you started Exumatron?
So since I started Exumatron, I have to admit I've worked with a couple of athletes. I've worked with a couple of Falcons, a couple of New Orleans Saints players over the years with
Wait a second
Exumatron.
now. Oh, we ain't gonna skip past this now. Falcons and Saints players. Oh
Yes.
man, the Aints.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
um, yeah. So, um, I have to say, my time working at Apple, I had an opportunity to meet quite a few people. Some people who, still to this day have remained good friends of mine. And so when I did my consulting work, I did some projects, some small projects like building web pages for a couple of athletes, some Falcon players. Actually, none of the Falcon players that I've actually done work for are still Falcon players now. They've all either retired or work with the organization in some type of capacity. But believe it or not, a lot of the Saint players, a lot of them live here in Atlanta, and so I've had connections with them in the past, and I have done some small projects. In terms of what how I learned how to build a website was I needed a website for my company, and I was looking at all these tools and things on how to build websites. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. Then I said, you know what, man, I need to learn it. So let me find one thing and focused on that one thing. And I learned how to build websites. So I know how to build websites from scratch, and I know how to use WordPress. Right now, um, I'm going to say it, I've been leveraging WordPress because of time. It actually saves time. And so I highly recommend, if you were to ask me this question, if you interviewed me like a year ago, I'd have been like, nah, don't use WordPress. But now I would say yes, because, it is a lot better and it allows me to manage my clients better, and it cuts down on the time of having to build something from scratch, putting it together for a customer. I can just take a template, edit it, change some colors, change some fonts, drop a couple of images, add a couple of plugins. Boom, you got your website, right? And
Sir.
so I did that. When it came to, so here's a story that a lot of people may not know about me. So back in 2015, I was a partner in an app called Luxaper. So Luxaper was an app. Best way to describe it, it was the Instagram for cars. So any car enthusiast, you would post different cars and it had a very Instagram look to the platform. And we actually pitched at Atlanta Tech Village and had a little buzz in 2015. And I quote unquote learned how to build the app. I actually didn't build the entire app. We actually hired a company to build it, but I actually learned how to build certain parts of the app through that experience. And unfortunately, 2016 came. The buzz of the app sort of fizzled. Our costs to manage the app skyrocketed, and so we kind of sort of dissolved the dissolved it at that point. But the takeaway for me was that I actually learned what it takes to build an app. You know, from concept of like drawing it on a piece of paper to actually coding it and putting it together. So um, that right there has been, how I've learned. I've learned from an experience of I need to get it done. I don't want to pay someone to do it for me. So what I got to do, I got to learn it, and so that's what's sort of triggered my learning, and has helped. I would say my little consulting company. I say it's little now, but it's gonna be it's gonna be big time very very soon. Um, I hope by this same time next year I can have some staff to handle the workload for me. So that's the goal, is to have an actual team working for me while I continue to grow it. So
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. And I'm glad that you told that story about Lucifer. Am I correct?
yes, yes,
Yes.
Lucifer.
Yeah. And then if you guys don't know where Atlanta Tech Village is, it's over there by Buckhead. Right
Yes,
over there by Lenox Mall. Used to be the premier mall in Atlanta. Now they got a whole bunch of metal detectors and everything, wiping you
yeah,
down. Got the police up in there. Man, it has truly changed since
yeah,
2015. Man,
yeah. I have to say, for me, I haven't been to that mall, which is sad because I used to go to Lennox all the time,
me too.
and I would meet a lot of tech people there. We would always eat over at the corner bakery.
Hmm.
I used to have so many meetings over at the corner bakery, and I haven't been to Lennox. We're in 2022. It's been 3 years since I set foot in Lennox, and that's just sad as to what it's become. Over the years, used to be a
Yeah.
nice, cool spot to meet people and chit chat, but not anymore.
Yeah, man, it used to be so fun. I used to feel so safe walking in. Like, oh, okay, let me go in there to Macy's or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, man. So, with that being said, I asked Marcellus this question too, and I want to ask you as well. Is do you find it hard to get more Black people interested in technology? I know that Atlanta is it's a tech hub, and it is a lot of Black people over here. Some people call it the Black Mecca. What do you think? Do you think it's actually harder to get more Black people into technology?
So, to that question, I do agree there is a level of difficulty because technology, even though tech is hot and tech is exciting, technology is not glamorized like music and sports. And the thing is, our people, they love music because they see, like they see the rappers, they see the gold chains, they see the fancy cars, but you don't really see a tech person, blinged out with gold chains and riding around in, Bentleys or Bugattis. You don't see that. And I think that's the thing that we have to, for those of us in tech, we have to figure a way of how do we make tech exciting for our people. Because, yes, I don't own a Bugatti or I don't own a Bentley, but, I've been to 17 countries. I've been to 44 of the 50 states in this country, right? All because of tech. And so I think that's the hard part, is that I feel that our people are very visual. They need to see it, and because they don't see tech people in fancy cars and things like that, they're interested to hear about it, but then when they see the work, they tend to shy away from it, and so they focus more on sports and entertainment. I also feel that our school systems have done a disservice by not including tech programs, like getting to our young people younger. I think would definitely dramatically change the perception of tech, because normally what I find is that people are interested about your career, but they want the fast track way to six figures. They don't want to sit there and, oh, I gotta be entry level for maybe a year or two, or a year and a half before I can get to six figures. I want that number now. And so we have to find a way to make it more relatable to our people, and show them the endless possibilities and the endless careers that tech is more than just coding. There are tons of tech jobs where you don't code at all. And so we have to be able to expand the concept of technology outside of just being a coder to our people.
Yeah, and I agree. There are plenty of them. If you learn Jira, you can get you a job
Oh,
for a lot of
yes.
money.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yep. And for the people who don't know what Jira is pretty much an agile tool. It's a track a project. That's pretty much high level what it is, right?
Right.
You can get granular and go into all the details of all the things that Jira does, but high level that's what it is.
Yeah.
And something that you said earlier, you said that you had been to 44 states within the 50 states, and then you've been to was it 17 different countries.
17 different countries, yes.
So, this be a whole thing. It'd be a good clip. Traveling
Yes.
with tech. That sounds cool, man. Okay. So, John, explain to us, how were you able to actually go to so many different places because of tech?
So for me, I've been an avid traveler for years, even before I started my tech career. And what tech allowed me to do was that it it allowed me to explore my possibilities. So for me, case in point, last year I went to Colombia for a week. So I said, screw COVID. I'm going to Colombia. I can't be in the house anymore. And I was able to go out there. I actually worked with one of my clients while I was there. I had good internet. And so the beautiful thing about tech is all you need is a good internet connection and you can work from anywhere. And so that's been a driving force and a passion of mine, because financially, I'm not gonna lie, I've made a good living for myself.
Yeah.
I haven't blown
Pat
my
yourself
money.
on the back.
I own multiple homes.
Oh,
And so, I've done well for myself in the tech industry. And so, hey, you got to play a little bit. And so for me, playing is, hopping on a plane and going somewhere. I've been to Cuba, I've been to Colombia, I've been to Honduras, I've been to Jamaica, I've been to the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, so I've had the experience of visiting a lot of countries, checking out their internet, and some places that I've traveled, I've worked from there. And so it's been, a great experience, and I feel that, tech has afforded me those possibilities. And so, as you move up in your career, and those zeros get bigger and bigger, you know, with the more experience you have, hey man, you get to have fun. You get to live a little.
all right. And you know what? We can hold on. Let me give you the applause right quick. You know, oh yeah, I own several homes. I'll be going in it. I'll hop on a flight right quick. All right, but I wanted to say this is that, and also this is a chess move. Okay, he said he be
Hmm.
doing business out in these places. He said he met up with his client out there in Colombia.
Yep.
So you know what? This ain't just for fun. He also has that work too. So with that being said, John, do you usually just travel by yourself, or do you also bring anybody with you or anything like that, or do you have like friends that you go and travel with as well?
So I usually travel with my family. Um, you know, I have traveled with friends from time to time. Usually when I'm gonna be conducting business, it's a combination of a family slash business. So like I usually will tell my family, say, hey, we're gonna go travel to this place, but on this day I gotta meet with this person, because there's money to be made and I'm gonna go make it.
There you
And
go.
so, um, you know, usually, it's with friends. Usually, but most of the time, it's with my family. And my daughter has the opportunity. She's been able to visit many of the states that I've been to, because usually I'll take her along with me. Um, I, I usually try to go when she's not in school. So when she's on a vacation, or we'll fly out on a Friday night, go hit and we've done this before. We've like flown out, gone to Virginia, come back, come back Sunday, get her to bed before school, and do it again. Actually, at one point in my career, I I worked for a company where I actually lived in Vegas for a month.
Mm.
So basically, I stayed in a hotel, different hotels. I was at the strip almost every day, seeing shows, working, meeting people, making new connections, and working out there. So yes, there's a lot of opportunities.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to hear that, man. And with that being said, John, I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But is there any other, anything that comes to mind as far as questions for me, or anything like that? Anything about the podcast? Anything else that you wanted anybody else to know about you, yourself, your business?
Yes. So I would say for me, if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Just look up the name Jonathan Exume. I consider myself at this stage in the game, I consider myself a, a mentor. So if you got questions, you you're interested in tech and you want to know the best path forward to get into it, I am here. Send me a message. I'm always on my LinkedIn. I always get people who, ask questions. So I feel that my gift to the world is I'm giving myself as a resource to the next generation to help the next generation level up and change your family's trajectory, right? And so when I hear words of like, oh, we can't afford this, and I say, why not? We just got to work. We just got to get into a job that makes it, you know what we have to do is we got to get into the job that makes us the money where we can't afford this, and not sit there and say, oh no, we can't afford this. So um I consider myself a resource. Definitely hit me up, ask any questions. And William, great job on this podcast. I'm happy that you're doing this. We need more of this. We need to just show how wonderful tech is, and the opportunities, and the great people that you meet and the friends that you make in this field.
And I really do appreciate that, John. And also, I'll have your links in the description, but just hang back for a little while, and we can talk about it that way. I can get all that information. Okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir. All right, everybody. This has been John Exume. Let me give you the salute, John. Thank you so much for coming up, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys
All
have a
right,
great
sir.
day. All right.
So, guys, that was a fantastic interview that I just had with John Exume, the Director of Business Development of Technologies of Color. Man, I have known this man for over 2 years now, a fantastic brother. And I'm actually really glad that we were able to speak with him. So, for anybody who is looking to connect with John, his information is in the description below. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you guys so much.
God damn, P, why the hell you be so hard, man?
This is me. This is who I was before the billions. Before I made the money.